Shalom, Kahalo Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and others of great millstone. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barakatham to the hopefully elect. So, just back with another video. Came across this article on Forbes.com. It says, here's where the postal service's mail delays could have the biggest impact on the election. All right, and pretty much because again, concerning all the chaos around the elections, all right, either way, whoever wins, all right, it's going to be all out chaos, all right. It's going to have all hell's going to break loose either way. All right, so just being mindful and being watchful on how these things play out. You got to be watching these things in the spirit, because one thing that we know and believe, all right, as a result of this chaos, they're going to institute the martial law, all right, because people are going to get fed up, and just eventually they're going to start taking things into their own hands, which I'm going to get that in Second Edges, the 15th chapter, which is why, I've decided to do a video on this article, because it's pretty much, it's going to tie into it. So I'm just going to skim through this article and just get just a few precepts. So again, the title says, here's where the postal service's mail delays could have the biggest impact on the election. It says battleground states in the presidential election are suffering from some of the worst mail delays in the country. U.S. Postal Service data analyzed by the Washington Post shows. And with state laws or court rulings requiring mail-in ballots to be received by Election Day, several states face a particularly high risk of voters having their ballots arrive too late to count, potentially impacting close races. So, again, because went over this before a few times, all right, how they because they're saying that dealing with these mail ballots, they're going to accept them pretty much at the last second. And what that would mean is, on the day of election, right? They can take ballots on the day of election. But what's been going on with all these mail delays, all right? Because again, with that, you're gonna have delay, that can, mean a delay of results. So let's say come election day, all right, it turns out that Biden wins, all right, well, they can easily, we didn't get enough, we didn't get all the votes in, and I mentioned this before with Trump, all right, he can easily, because he can easily, it'll appear that he's winning by a landslide, and come the time he can, just shut everything down and just claim victory, right? But then again, all the mail-in ballots, they haven't, all the counts haven't been counted yet. All the votes haven't been received yet. But Trump can easily, because he's so desperate to stay in power, all right, well, he can easily just claim, just say that, none of that stuff matters. He won, and, it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. Which again, this is why we're suspecting, all hell to break loose, because either way it goes, if Biden wins, you're pretty much gonna have both parties fighting one another, all right? Because again, like with if Biden wins, Trump said he's not leaving office because he's been saying it throughout the year, rigged elections. That's what he's pretty much going to claim, rigged elections if he loses, So either way, man, but you got, and people know that something, it's going to be an all-out war. People are talking about leaving in doomsday bunkers. Come election time, because they know people are stocking up on food and supplies for the elections. All right, they're trying to ramp up on police force and things like that, because they know all hell's gonna break loose. You know. Um. So reading on. Michigan data analyzed by the Post shows that only 70.9% of first-class mail, which includes election mail, was delivered on time in Detroit this week, ending October 9th, worse than the 85% to 87% on-time rate in the rest of the state. And an appeals court ruled Friday that mail-in ballots must be received by 8 p.m. on election day. Right? Wisconsin, 84.3% of mail was delivered on time in the Lakeland district that covers much of the state in October. The Post reports an appeals court has ruled the ballots must be received by 8 p.m. on election day to count. Florida on-time mail delivery is at 82.8%, and South Florida at 83.4% in northern cities like Jacksonville and Tallahassee, and state law mandates that ballots must be returned by 7 p.m. on election day. So just pretty much getting into all the statistics, different states. All right, pretty much, because no one receives their mail 100% on time 100% of the time. All right, because for the most part it's all a mess, and especially with all the scams that's going on now with these, dealing with this whole mail-in ballots. All right. It says 86.15%. That's the national average for on-time delivery of first-class mail the week ending October 9th, as reported by Postal Service. On-time delivery in 17 postal districts that cover 10 battleground states was 2% below that national average, according to the Post, and 7.8% below the on-time delivery rates in January before the COVID-19 pandemic. And Postmaster General Louis DeJoy took office and implemented changes that spurred the new mail delays, which was probably done on purpose, but just my opinion. On-time delivery for first-class mail is classified as between 1 to 3 days. The USPS has reportedly emphasized its commitment to delivering election mail, stating it's the agency's number one priority and devoting significant additional resources toward election mail. The Postal Service is fully committed and actively working to handle the increase in election mail volume across the country over the next 2 weeks. Spokesman David, I'm just going to jump on down. Says the USPS capacity to deliver election mail on time has been a particular source of concern after DeJoy implemented changes at the USPS that spurred widespread mail delays, particularly after the agency warned 46 states that their election mail deadlines could result in election mail not getting delivered on time. The USPS is reversing many of the changes that caused the delays after a series of court rulings, including changes regarding how election mail is handled. And while on-time mail delivery has not yet bounced back to its levels from before the changes were imposed, it has improved in many places from the lows seen over the summer. But it's still not at 100%. All right, pretty much the mail system, man, right now it's all messed up. All right, and again, no coincidence. As a result of the mail delays, candidates and election officials have encouraged voters to mail their ballots back as early as possible. USPS encourages voters to mail their ballots at least 1 week before the deadline and use options like drop boxes or election offices to return ballots if available. Voters should not risk possible postal delays this close to the deadline. Michigan Secretary of State Joycelyn Benson said on a media call Tuesday, urging Michigan voters to use ballot drop boxes instead of putting their ballot in the mail. Voters who already have their absentee ballot should hand deliver it to their city or township election clerk's office or ballot drop box. There's still a chance that mail-in voting deadlines could change before the election as cases move forward, with voting rights groups asking the U.S. Supreme Court to weigh in on the court ruling in Wisconsin that reinforced the election day deadline through the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 4-4 Monday in favor of Pennsylvania extending its ballot deadline. Some experts have noted it's possible that GOP lawmakers in the state could send the case back to the court after Judge Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed. Doing so could potentially result in a new 5-4 ruling against the extended deadline and put Pennsylvania voters at a higher risk of their ballots arriving too late to count. So just more and more chaos, man. You know, I read this last. Oh, actually, that was it. No, yeah, I'm gonna read this last part. NYPD will ramp up police presence ahead of presidential election. Department announced Tuesday it will have hundreds of additional uniform officers stationed throughout the city to quash any potential trouble in the days leading up to election day. Yeah, because again, people know, man. It's about to be, man. This is a very high stakes on the line, man. People know that all hell's gonna break loose on this day. But again, it's pretty much because, like I said, it ties into 2nd Edges 15, which again I'm gonna get, but because again, tensions are high in the air, and this is not the Lord, that perverse spirit, which I'm about to get. The Lord is mingling the spirit, man, and stirring the pot up, and getting these people, geared up, man. People are in a hostile state of mindset. Tensions are in the air. All right, because when you read, these scriptures, this chapter goes into the Egyptians against Egyptians. All right, these different race wars and civil wars and all type of wars that are going to pop off. But what I want to get is the 14th verse. It says, Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. Let me see what that says here. I never looked into it. That word perverse. Let's see what it says here. Disorienting, perverting, warping. So yeah, pretty much, everything's gonna be, it's screwed up. It's just all out of place and just disorientated, basically. Because like I said, this is ultimately, you see how about Shemel Shai stirring the minds of these people. All right, turning one against another. All right, because people are getting their teeth knocked out. These different left groups and Republicans versus Democrats. These people are going at it. They're going at each other's throats. Again, this is the Lord's. This is of the Lord's doing. Read that again in verse 14. Yahweh hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. These people, man, they can't come to agreement with anything. All right, you get into a debate. Not even a debate, just a normal conversation dealing with, ask someone, who they're voting for, and if it's contrary to who you're voting for, and I'm just talking about, just people in general, not brothers in the truth, because, of course we don't vote, but, just people in general, all right, you can have a simple conversation, who you voting for, and if this person's voting for Trump, that person's voting for Biden, it could potentially end up, in strife, and that's what the scriptures talk about, is that at 1 Timothy 6, start at verse 4, it says, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. From such withdraw thyself. So again, because like I said, this isn't concerning men in the truth, because we don't vote. All right. We for the most part, the men of the Lord, they don't really get too caught up in when it comes to having a conversation about politics and who you voting for and this stuff, because none of our we're really only into politics if it's concerning prophecy, and again, that's why I just wanted to touch on this article a little bit, because again, this is just going to cause more chaos and more confusion. All right. Delay your votes. All right. They're talking about taking mail-in ballots at the last second. All right. The day of the elections. Right. Well, what do you think that's going to lead to? What do you think that means? All right. If mail-in ballots, if they're talking about mail-in ballots, but they're saying that you can mail your ballot in at the last second. What do you think that's going to lead to? Because again, and I've stated this before, one party could be winning by a landslide, but and they can easily claim victory, but they don't have all the votes in. So how long in between time would you have to wait to let's just say if they did decide to wait, how long would you in between time would you wait to get all the accurate counts and of these votes, and there's no telling how the hell and the chaos that can ensue in that time. Again, just assuming that they did actually decide to wait, it could take a week, 2 weeks, be months before they actually get all the votes in. All right. But nevertheless, man, because again, let's just say one party wins. Let's just say Trump wins, because I think he's more than likely the type to do this, or he would do this. But let's say, come election, he's winning by a landslide. It appears that he's winning, right? And come the deadline, he could just easily call it off, and that he can claim victory. And again, what type of chaos do you think that would ensue? All right. Because you're gonna of course you're gonna have the Biden supporters, crying that basically crying and talking shit, talking about how they don't have all the votes and things of that nature. And man, long story short, man, these people, man, they're about to go back and forth. It's about to be some the scriptures talk about uproars of the people, right? Let me get this in Psalms real quick before I get Second Esdras. Psalm 74 and 23, I think. Let me read that. It says, "Forget not the voice of thine enemies, the tumult of those that rise up against thee increaseth continually." All right. Because actually, that's not what I wanted, but you can use it in this sense, because again, that fire that's been kindled, all right, the people are becoming more and more, relentless, and just more hostility. You can feel it in the air, the tension, all right. Things are heating up. It's increasing continually. All right, the tumult and the uprising, the uproars of the people, all right. And eventually, man, people are going to say, the hell with this shit. And they're just going to start going all, they're going to go crazy. And this is what brings me to the Second Esdras 15th, all right? People are going to say, fuck that, man. And they're going to start taking actions into their own hands, all right? Second Esdras 15 and 15, it says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." Like I said, the Egyptian against the Egyptian, just when you read in Isaiah the 19th, all right? People are going to be turning on their neighbor. Friends are going to become foes, all right? Well, and if you're paying attention, you look around, you see that now. You see that now, man. Because even just throw myself out there, like I said, I don't vote, but if I were to vote, man, I put my chips on Trump, and being a so-called black man, Jake, look at me crazy, but it's not in the sense of on the level that they're in. And, I want to say that I put my chips on Trump because this man is fulfilling prophecy, man. You know, this guy, man, he's going to be the guy to do it, to set off World War III. All right. But either way, whoever wins, all right, prophecy is going to be fulfilled. But, that's why I just say, Trump is the guy, man. He's look like he's the guy to do it. And I would put I will put my chips on him, but, if I was just openly proclaiming, being a Trump advocate, then, hey, man, you got Jake looking to take my head off, because again, hey, man, this stuff is tearing people apart. All right, everyone's divided. The tensions in the air. All right, and eventually, man, people are just gonna just say the hell with it all, man, and that's why the record sales for guns and ammo skyrocketing. All right, people are getting ready for this, man, whether they know it or not, whether they believe it or not. They're preparing for this because all hell is gonna break loose out here. I'm gonna read verse 16. It says, "For there shall be a sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So again, man, people eventually, man, they're going to take powers and matters into their own hand. They're going to take the law into their own hand. They're going to start kidnapping these politicians and governors and whatnot. All right. We're holding them ransom and kidnapping their families and loved ones. It's going to be all hell and all mayhem. All right. This is what this is leading up to. This is what's cooking. All right. Because again, ultimately, Yahweh Shemir Shai is the one that's stirring the pot, and he's gearing things up. All right. So, again, just being on the lookout, man, because we're just a couple of weeks away from, all hell break loose, man. Because again, from this, it's going to come martial law. Eventually, martial law is going to, be declared fully. All right. They're talking about famines. Famine is on the horizon here in America. There's already famines in certain parts in other countries and stuff, but it's on the horizon here in America. All right, it's gonna be a harsh winter, man. All right, things are heating up. They're talking about the chip. The talk about the chip has been it's been circulating around lately. All right. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read on down. Verse 17, it says, "A man shall," because again, once people start rising up, and once people just say the hell with it, and take matters into their own hands, that's when they're going to institute martial law. Verse 17, it says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Verse 19, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." All right, because again, once they close down these cities, all right, you already have certain these truck drivers, all right, they're not entering into certain cities because of, where they're defunding the police and stuff and all this, these riots and protests. Some of these truck drivers, man, these truck drivers, they're the ones that are supplying the goods to these stores, these markets and whatnot. A lot of these truck drivers, man, they're saying the hell with that. They're not coming into some of these cities. They don't want to, catch hell, pretty much, But nevertheless, man, these things have to take place, man. And again, we're only a couple of weeks away from, possible, bloodbath. All right, because keep saying it time in and time out, you have these different riots and uproars. Eventually, man, you're going to start having live shootouts. Eventually, these people are going to open fire on one another. I think, where is that over there? And I think it was over there in Africa, somewhere in Africa. Lego or Labo or some place over there in Africa. All right, they had the soldiers opening fire on those protesters. I might do a video on that, Lord's will, if if the Spirit permits. But eventually, that's going to take place over here. Eventually, you're going to have these open shootouts. People are going to start opening fire, live bullets, live rounds on one another. And again, we're 2 weeks away or a few weeks away from these elections, and that could be that could be the final straw to break the camel's back. Lord's will, because we're tired of this place, and we want to see this place be destroyed. It's just one step closer. If I sound like I'm happy, all right, I'm one of those. I'm watching out for prophecy, all right, and all it means is one step closer and getting the hell up out of here. All right, because like I said, they're talking about the chip. World War III is I mean that could pop off any day, man. World War III. All right, that's right around the corner. They're talking about the microchip. They want to pretty much they want to institute it starting in January. All right. These things, man, they're jumping off the book as the scriptures say. These prophecies they're coming to pass. So it's time it's time to be on fire for these things. You know. So these are just things that we're looking out for and just paying attention for. And I just brought the article out, to just bring a little awareness to the potential chaos. All right, with the late mail-in ballots. All right, these mail-in ballot delays. All right, it can cause trouble, man. It can cause strife. And hopefully, hey man, like I said, this is the final straw to break the camel's back. But we'll see. We'll see. Just continue to be watchful and stay prayed up. Because we're almost out of here, man. So with that, I'm going to give all credit to Yahweh Shem Shai, double honors to the apostles and others with great millstone. Until next time, shalom.